There's only one other thing I want to add to the content we have on the screen at the moment, which is the logo for this business. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Lotus folder we had earlier, where we had all the images, the logo, the content in. Now, the first thing I want to do is to rename this file. Now, as you can see, that the logo we've been provided it's not the SVG or the transparent PNG logo file. So we need to work with the image file that we have at the moment. Maybe in the future we can get a transparent file to be able to adapt to any kind of background color design we want to have. But at the moment, this is the logo file that we have to work with. So the first thing I want to do is to rename it to something simpler than 3 words with spaces in between. So I'll just call it logo.jpg. And one more thing I want to check is the size of this image. As you can see, this is 305 kilobytes. It's a little bit large for an image that is going to be used probably on a small scale on a web page. It's not some image people are going to expand and look at in detail. So another thing I want to do before I use this image after renaming it is also opening it in something very simple like Paint, for example, and just resize it. You see, it's really, really big for our purposes. And we want to use this image on maybe a corner or a smaller part of the web page. So let's go ahead and resize what we have at the moment. So I'm going to click on pixels, and as you can see, it's 2000 by 2000 pixels at the moment. What I'm going to need probably is going to be something definitely less than 400, 500 pixels. So I'll go with 500 and then I can adjust it later. But just reducing 2000 pixels to 500 pixels is going to make a big difference in the size of the image. And if you are wondering, why are we changing the sizes of images to reduce them? The reason for that is it is going to impact the performance of the web page, the page load speed, which is really important, how fast your web page loads. And one of the biggest impacts are coming from the images that we use. And whenever possible, try to reduce the sizes of images. That's very important. So I'm going to make it 500 by 500 now. And you can see that this is a real size. We are not even going to use it as big as what you see on the screen here. We are going to use it at a still smaller scale. However, let's see what difference this made. So I'm going to save this file, close, and now you can see that the 300 kilobyte file is reduced to 59 kilobytes. So that's a huge reduction of size, which is going to be really useful. Still, we could still make it lower if you use some softwares like Photoshop or some more professional photo editing softwares. You could still work on the image. You could get the SVG even. You can do many other things. But at the moment, the only file we have at the moment to work with is this one. And what we have done is reduce the file size from 300 kilobytes to 59 kilobytes, which is a good reduction up to here. And we renamed it. So what I want to do next is just copy this or bring this image to my project folder where I have my HTML file, because I want to include this image on the HTML page before I start designing it. And then we are going to add the rest of the content and maybe create the other pages. So I can just drag and drop this one on the project, and you can see that it's here now. It's logo.jpg. And if we go back to our Visual Studio Code, you can also see it here in the list of files available under your project folder. And what I want to do is just bring it to the main part of the body. Now remember that we have header, main, and footer, and we already added 3 pieces of text, 2 headings, H1, H2, 1 paragraph, P tag, and now I want to add 1 image tag here. So the image tag is IMG. This one is a self-closing tag. As you can see, you don't have an opening and a separate closing for this one. And what I want to do is to give it a source. So src is equal to the name of the file that I want to load on the page. In this case, it is called logo.jpg, as you can see here. Now, there's other attributes we can add here. We can adjust the size of the image and other things, but we want to worry about all of those when we start working on the CSS, which is just in a couple minutes. So logo.jpg is the source of the image I want to put on the screen. Let me go ahead and save and look at the document after I refresh. And there you go. We have added now the logo of the website with the 500 by 500 pixel, which we resized in Paint earlier, if you remember. So this is what we are going to start with. So this is pure HTML, nothing else. It's just one image tag, one H1 heading. There is an H2 and there is a paragraph tag, and there is zero CSS, zero design. It's just the content. Now what we want to do is to go ahead and add some CSS to this process to basically give it some design, some colors, resize, change fonts, and give it some shape and form. So let's go ahead and do that.